Hello and welcome to the Coop and the Goose podcast. Where your hosts, me, Coop, and then we got over here the Goose, Adam.
Goose. Honk.
Where every week we're gonna be telling a spooky, scary story from the depth of Reddit, and we will also be adventuring on the debating side of "Am I the asshole?" or other topics of that sort.
Yeah.
Other than that, today's a spooky story. Spooky story. We're gonna be going into that. It's gonna be a lot of fun. I'm excited. Um, Also, if you're gonna see, there's gonna be a transition to where we're gonna be completely in different clothes. That's because we forgot to do an intro. Okay, we didn't forget. We didn't have a name for the podcast, so this is it. A week later. So yeah, hope you guys enjoy the scary story. Always check your shadows. Yeah, it's a good listen. You got anything to say before we let them go? Listen to us in the past.
It's an interesting one. The what was it called? Always watch your shadow, right?
Always check your shadow.
Always check your shadow. Yeah, it's an interesting one. So I hope you guys enjoy that.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll send you off to that one. Enjoy. Check out Super
Bye.
Merch. Bye. Subscribe. On. Okay, so we got Always Check Your Shadows by Blair. Is it Blair Daniels?
Blair Daniels, yes.
Perfect. This story and her Reddit link will be in the description below.
I'm
Okay,
sure I'm
perfect.
going to butcher this immediately because now that I'm reading, and then the idea of the audience is going to like make me choke.
This is
But yeah,
all right. Prepare not to sleep.
Always Check Your Shadow by Blair Daniels. Mom taught us one rule: always check your shadow. Every few hours, the three of us, Mom, Curly, and me, I'm calling her Curly, would do a shadow check. It was a second nature as taking a sip of water. Shadow check, my mom would call, and we'd both look down, checking that our shadows are still there. I thought everyone did this. We were homeschooled, so no one really told me otherwise. Oh boy, I already said this is rough.
No, you're good.
And my one friend down the block, Samantha, was a little strange herself, so she never seemed to notice. But then Mom got a job, and Curly and I went to school. And that's when everything collapsed. Moody.
Oh boy.
What are you doing? Paige asked me as we stood outside for recess one cool fall afternoon. Shadow check, I replied. Duh. Shadow check, she asked, confused. What's that? I squinted at her. You don't know what shadow check is?
What a dumbass.
What a dumb.
What an idiot, Paige. You're
What a
fucking.
what a freaking idiot. I lost my place. It was like she told me she didn't know how to brush her teeth. I explained slowly in several terms, like I was talking to a baby. You look at the ground to check if your shadow is still there. Oh my god, I don't know that word. She obediently looked at the ground. There it is. Then she raised her arms out in front of her and linked them, making her shadow into the letter P. Look, it's P for Paige.
I'd fucking slap
In
her.
no time at all, half of the class was doing it. We bound out for recess, and someone would shout, "Shadow check!" The kids would contort their bodies into weird shapes to make the shadows look like elephants or cats or letters, and we try to guess what they were. I don't know. Any thoughts so far?
How the fuck do you make your shadow look like an elephant?
Yeah, or like a cat. I get it. You could like, but like an elephant, maybe you could be like.
I guess okay, that makes
something.
sense. That makes
I don't
more
know.
sense. That makes more sense.
Yeah, like I just like the idea of like him looking at the shadow, and then the shadow is just a human, and then it would like morphs into the shape of a full ass elephant.
Shadow. It's like, what the fuck is that?
Like
I'm an elephant.
Wonder Twin powers activate. Form of elephant.
Jesus. So far, I mean, pretty simple. I mean,
Yeah,
I mean, the mother. Well, I don't know. You'd think the mother maybe has something to do with it, but then she got a job. Like, did she?
I think it's just kind of like a fun little thing that she started when they were young. It doesn't really say like what age group they're in. It just says, they went to school. So you would assume that they're young or like maybe, well, hold on. It said something about going out to recess. So like elementary school. So you would
Ah,
assume like maybe fifth grade or something like that.
yeah, more
So
than likely.
fifth grade for us. However, some fifth graders are in middle school in some places. So it's weird.
It is kind of weird. That went on nicely for about 3 days. Oh god. Then the horror struck. On Thursday afternoon, it was overcast. Shadow check, Thomas shouted. I diligently looked down and saw my shadow. But when I looked up, I realized nobody else had a shadow. The fuck do you mean? Overcast. We're talking like
Yeah,
shade,
overcast.
like,
So like sun was covered, but only they had a shadow.
but no, they only she had a shadow, or
Only the MC had a shadow.
main character.
So, but yeah, main
Okay,
character. So only the MC has a shadow, but nobody else does because the sun is blocked.
that's weird. For a second, I was in a panic and I screamed, and ran. But then I took a deep breath and did exactly what my mom taught me. I grabbed Paige first. Hey, she protested, but I didn't listen. I held on with a vice grip and started pulling her back towards the school. When the shadow goes away, hide in the darkness for a day. Oh God.
Huh.
The mantra echoed in my head. The school had a basement. How does she have access to the basement?
Yeah, why would a young child have access to the school basement?
I mean, I guess if it's during recess, all the teachers are outside. That makes sense. Oh
Not
well.
all of them, though. Not
Yeah.
typically.
True. I'd heard the teachers mention it. The basement would be safe. All we had to do was stay there until morning. Let's
Jesus.
let go of me. Paige screeched, finally yanking her wrist out of my grasp. What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? I screamed back. You have to hide. The kids weren't smiling anymore. They were staring at me, backing away like I was a rabid animal. We have to hide, I screamed again. All the shadows are gone. I grabbed at Paige again, but she dodged this time. I lost my footing and fell onto the asphalt. Pain stung my knees, and I looked up at my classmates. Why aren't you hiding? What are you doing? Run, I screamed. Uh, there it is. That's when a teacher helped me up and took me right to the principal's office. Okay, so that I'm guessing them 3 stars were like a little break.
Yeah, yeah, I would assume so.
What are your thoughts on that?
Is she a fucking groundhog? Like, oh, shadow's gone. Winter is back. Winter's early or whatever. I don't know how the groundhog thing works.
I think if he
Like,
sees
if
the
the shadow
shadow,
goes away, winter will last 3 more weeks.
I'm I'm very confused right now, but I'm sure we'll get an answer.
Yeah,
You
for
want to take
sure.
back over?
Yeah, sure, absolutely. I now started highlighting where we left off so I don't get
Ooh,
lost.
smart.
I should have explained this more clearly. My mother told that night as she tucked me in, the shadow thing is only for us. It's okay if other people don't have shadows. Why? Sadness flashed across her face for a sec, then she shook her head. That's just the way it is. No one talked to me at recess anymore, not even Paige. I sat alone all the time. I noticed now that there were many days. Wait, hold on. That there were many days in some classrooms. Even when people didn't have shadows, I always did, but they didn't. I butchered the way that was read, but that's all right.
I was confused as
Months
well.
passed. Yeah, my bad.
No. I was
Yes,
kind of
I
like
didn't mean to
looking
cut you
at it.
off.
No, you're good. You're good.
Yeah, the way that it's written, like I see the dashes, but maybe you should have did like.
The dashes are throwing
I'm
us
not.
off.
I'm not going to criticize the way that there's writing
No,
because I
100%.
can't write.
So far, interesting story.
All right. Months passed, and eventually kids forgot about the incident. That's what kids do, forget. Sometimes I wish forgiving and forgetting came easier to adults. Paige would run to me at recess, and we'd play hopscotch. She never brought up the fact that even on an overcast day, my shadow still danced across the chalk lines. Mirroring my own movements, except sometimes they were the slightest bit out of sync, kind of like your audio earlier. Like my shadow was moving for a split second delay. As I got older, however, things got more complicated. In the seventh grade, okay, so we were right. It was about
Okay.
fifth grade era. Okay,
Okay. Interesting.
gotcha. So in the seventh grade, the teacher taught us about the sun and optics and light, prisms and rainbows, and the cones and rods in our eyes. When she mentioned that our shadow was just the absence of light that our bodies were blocking from out of the sun or the
Fluorescent.
overhead fluorescent lights. Thank you. I lost where I was.
Yep, you're good.
It didn't make sense to me that my shadow or anyone else's would be able to disappear if the lighting didn't change and I didn't move. How could a shadow suddenly disappear? Curly, I still think that's how it's pronounced, so
I
that's what
think
it is.
I think it is curly.
Yeah, I think it's supposed to be curly, like maybe like a description of the hair or something, and that's the
Yeah, more
nickname that
likely.
stuck.
I could see that.
Yeah. Curly was now old enough was now old enough to insist we call her by her real name.
Ah.
But she was still too young to understand the argument. Okay, so literally, like we guessed it, it's a
Yeah,
nickname.
yeah, it's
If
100% a
I had
nickname.
just read one more little sentence, we would have figured it
One more
out.
line, we had it.
To understand the argument that I had with my mom that night, it's not possible, I shouted. As she worked on her coloring books upstairs, you're lying to me. I'm not lying to you, my mother pleaded. Yes, you are. I ran across the living room to get in my mom's face, walked
Oh.
right past the ornate glass lamp that stood at the end of the table. My mom's eyes widened. She looked at the ground. That's when I realized my shadow was gone. The lamp was behind me. My shadow should have been on the floor in front of me, but it wasn't. Run, she whispered. Sorry, let me redeliver that one.
Okay.
Run, she whispered, and I didn't move. She began to shout, Go to Curly. Go! I hesitated for half a second, then I sprinted to the stairs. Turn off the light, she shouted after me. I darted in and closed the door. Then I bent down and yanked out the plug from the lamp. Hey, Curly said, I'm coloring. Shh, I whispered. What? My shadow disappeared. Curly was too young to remember that day. Her shadow disappeared. She'd only been a year old. Mom had scooped her out of the playpen, grabbed me by the hand, and took the three of us into the basement, where we spent the night down there in total darkness, eating canned beans and sleeping on old comforters laid out on the cement floor. I stood in the center of the room listening to Mom's footsteps. They never came. Is she staying down there? But we had so many lights on down there. It would be safer for us to just safer to just run to us. I crept towards the door, my heart pounding, slipping over Barbie's curly head all over the floor. Mom? I called out. Through the door? Nothing. I opened the door just a crack and peered out. I could see that the light spilling out from the living room, but everything was silent. Maybe she went into the basement. Maybe. A shadow appeared, cast across the wall. No, she's still down there. But no, that couldn't be Mom's shadow. It was too short. And even though the edges were blurry, the shadow sort of looked like it had a ponytail. Not a short hair in a pixie cut like Mom. Not a short hair in a pixie cut. Okay.
Like my mom.
That's not Mom. Yeah, yeah. It's just I
Oh,
think
I
like
got
the
you. I
the
got you.
phrasing is
It
weird to
is.
me.
Yeah, yeah. Not a short.
Um,
Not a short
it
hair
should be
in a
like
pixie
not.
cut.
No, actually, I guess that checks out.
It
It's just
does.
seemed weird to me at the time.
Fair enough.
Anyway, uh, that's not Mom. That's me. The blurry edges sharpened, and the figure. Then the figure, the shadow, came into view. My ponytail, my upturned nose, my knocked knees. I don't know what the hell a knocked knees is.
What is a knock
The
knee?
thing, yeah, it sounds like bruised knees, like because she fell and hurt her knees.
I
But it
guess
seemed like but this is like several years later,
maybe
so
like
maybe not.
bony knees.
Yeah, yeah. Or she's got like inverted knees, like a
She's got
horse.
Forrest Gump knees.
Yeah. Run, Forrest, run.
All right. The
Da-da-da-da.
blurry edges sharpened.
My knock knees. The thing crouched down and. Sorry, I got a notification on my phone.
You're good.
The thing crouched down and pulled at something, yanking it, moving completely independent of me. A dragging sound. My mother's feet came into view, still and lifeless. I gasped. Hopefully that came through the mic.
It did.
My hands clapped to my mouth, but it was too late. The shadow froze, turned and stared at me directly. And then, with huge loping strides, it started up the stairs.
Oh.
I slammed the door shut, clicked the lock. Then I jumped under the covers with Curly, my entire body trembling.
God
It's
damn.
definitely getting interesting now.
So the shadow disappeared and went after. Wait, so I thought, for some reason, I thought the two girls went downstairs.
So it seems like the Curly was upstairs in her room,
Yes.
and the
Oh.
MC was having an argument with her mom about like why everybody else's shadows disappeared, and it doesn't make any sense because she had, it
That makes more
kind of
sense.
seems like it's like a family thing, like it's like a
Yeah.
curse with her family because
I
everybody
gotcha.
else obviously isn't affected by it.
I guess I
So
forgot the part that she went upstairs because then all of a sudden they were talking downstairs. I'm like, are they talking about a basement? How the fuck did we end up in a basement?
yeah.
But
So
then,
it seems like it's like first floor. It's like basement, first floor, second floor. That's what it seems like to me.
Then
So
her shadow, somewhat, possibly, all we know, knocked out her
yeah.
mom and is dragging her
Or
up the stairs.
well, it said still and lifeless, so she is dead.
The little fucking girl's shadow killed her mom.
Yeah, so
does
it
the
makes me
shadow kill
think
you,
that
do you
it's
think?
like some kind of family curse, almost like the shadow is like a demon attached to the kid. Maybe I don't know.
Yeah, possibly. Do you think the
Bec-
shadow is just the shadow of what the ghost is, or do you think the shadow is just like legit the shadow on the wall?
I think there's probably like I think it's literally the shadow of the individual. However, the reason why it is like independent, like I said, I think it's like a family curse kind of deal, like in the
Oh, for
paranormal
sure.
activity movies where
Yeah.
like the one character, the one lady, I can't think of her name off the top of my head, but like her family was cursed to be haunted by the spirit of Toby.
Mm-hmm.
So like it could be something like that.
I can
So
see it. Do you want me to read this part?
yeah, absolutely, we're actually almost done. So
Yep. There's those little 3 lines again, so it must be like a break
yeah
in the story.
yeah
Oh gosh. The police never found mom's body. She was eventually declared legally dead. Curly and I were sent away and living at their grandparents' house. They didn't seem to know anything about the shadow. They never asked us to do shadow checks. The only remark in 10 years was my grandma on a particular cloudy day remarking how strange it was that I cast a perfect shadow on the sidewalk in front of us. I watched it as I walked and noticed its movements were perfectly synced with my own. As the years went by, my shadow didn't disappear again, and I started to get complacent. I checked for it at least. Oh, I checked for it less and less frequently. I started to lead a normal life, getting hired at a real estate agent. Curly now going
a real estate. Oh yeah, no, you're right. But yeah, it reads real estate agent.
as a
Hired as a real estate agent.
real
Okay,
estate
all right.
agent.
Yeah. As a real estate agent.
See
Sounds
what
like
I did there?
some CIA shit. Like, yeah, I'm an estate agent, a
I'm a
fucking real
real
one.
estate
I'm a
agent.
real estate agent.
God damn it, Curly. Curly, now going by her name Rebecca, is 19 and in college. I even started to persuade myself that my shadow didn't kill her, that my mom ran away after our fight, and my memory of the shadow was my way of coping with it. Because it was harder to accept my mom had abandoned us, than it was accepted that evil shadow had killed her. That's what I told myself until tonight. Oh, great. As I sat down on my computer, finishing writing a house list, I noticed there was no shadow with my fingers on the keyboard. No shadow on the
Linoleum.
linoleum under the desk. I I ran to turn off all the lights, but I didn't think I was fast enough because when I ran too close to the blinds to block out the light from the street lamp below, I saw my shadow walking across the dark street, disappearing into the night. So please, I beg you, if you see any strange shadows in your home or outside, something you don't think is cast by the lights, by the object in your home, something that looks different, hide somewhere pitch black where no shadows can be cast until morning. Interesting. I kind of butchered that a little bit, but
Yeah, I mean, so did I. Don't worry about it. I think, side note, I think that this podcast could be a good excuse for us to get better at reading,
that's what
you
I was
know?
thinking. I was like, the
Because,
more we do it, the
like,
better we'll
it could
get.
be a good excuse for us to kind of reteach ourselves. So,
Hey, and also this is the
um,
first episode. By episode 100,
exactly, yeah. Dude,
we're
we're gonna be
authors.
scholars, dude.
We're
I'm gonna
scholars, dog.
like I'm gonna rediscover gravity by the end of episode 100.
What'd you think?
That's the
What'd you
goal,
think?
I guess. Yeah, I was gonna say, as Reddit says right below it, what are your thoughts? Um, I don't like how there's not a definite answer of
What it is?
of what it is, or like, so I wouldn't mind if there wasn't an answer of like what exactly it is. What I want is to know, like, what is the shadow's intention? Is it just to kill people? Because the shadow was real quick to kill her mom.
Mm-hmm.
But then also, like, the next time she saw it disappear, all of a sudden it was like, see ya.
Yeah, it was outside, fucking dipping.
Yeah, like the way that the story was going would make you think that the shadow was going to kill her
I'm
because she
not gonna
has to
lie.
hide.
I legit was sitting there thinking like this was all in her head and she killed her mom.
That could very much be the same too. Yeah, I don't know.
But I also wonder if because she was angry at her mom, that's when her shadow just said, "Oh, you don't like her? I'll kill her for you."
Hmm.
You know,
What if like her mom was like on crazy fucking drugs
it could be.
and
She
she
overdosed.
was just like abusing her kids by locking them in the basement and shit. And then this is like
That's
some
fun.
kind of trauma that like the child developed, and then like, like
Yeah, it's definitely
maybe,
like
yeah, maybe the mom killed herself in like a drug induced fear of like the shadow thing that she created. And then, like, she said she couldn't fathom the idea of her mom abandoning her, but maybe that's what happened.
yeah. And what's
Sorry,
confusing?
my bad. I meant to say unalived herself.
Yeah, there you go. What's confusing though? I mean, it's kind of like what you said, like the whole that family curse because the grandparents didn't know anything about it. So
Yeah.
so it's kind of like it was probably something she did.
But then also, if you noticed, she said when, oh, never mind. I was gonna say when she said when the shadow was killing her mom that it was like super blurry and shit. But then she says that the edges sharpened, so the shadow did become like a perfect shadow at the end there. And then her grandparents commented on the fact that she is a perfect shadow.
Ooh, there you go.
So I thought there was something there, but I don't think so. I think I'm reading too far into it.
Here, there's someone's comment here. I feel like I need to know a lot more about this. Feels like there should be a novel. I'd love to read it. That was it, really. I thought we were gonna get something.
So here is another comment. I think we're seeing different comments. Uh, where was it? Okay, I'm sitting here in the pitch black room and I just checked my shadow at the same time until I heard a noise from inside my room. Now I'm totally freaked out. Update. It was my extremely clumsy cat trying to get into my bed.
Jesus, Murphy. Interesting. I'd give it a 6 out of 10. It had a decent story.
I'll give it like I don't know, like a 4.5.
Fair.
Real quick,
Because we didn't get
there's
no
this
answers.
comment that when we were like trying to set everything up, I was just like scrolling up and down the page because I have ADHD.
Yeah.
I have ADHDs. Um, so the comment is, I guess if you don't have a shadow, you're a ghost. Not making fun. That's the only thing that makes sense.
Ooh.
In this world today, it's no crazier It's no crazier an idea than any other. I shall do shadow checks. Hey, you never know. So it seems like they might have a theory on it that you have to be a ghost to not have a shadow.
That'd be interesting. The whole fucking school did a
But then,
mass
like,
genocide during
but
recess.
yeah, it's like, but then the kids have shadows, and then also her shadow came back, so you can't like be a ghost for like a little bit, you know. And it's like, huh, now I'm not a ghost anymore,
Whoa, I'm
apparently.
alive. I'm dead.
Yeah,
I'm alive.
whoa.
I'm alive
And then
again.
also as I'm scrolling down, I see like comment by my moderator, removed by moderator, removed by. There's like a lot of comments removed.
All right, if y'all enjoyed, hit that like, subscribe. Don't make fun of us for our reading level. We're gonna go
Or
up,
do.
or
And
do.
making comments is good engagement, boosts on the algorithm.
Best roast comment will be we'll just review all the roast comments.
Yeah, we'll feature it in the next thing.
or the next time we do a comment deal, because we might record episode 2 before we even upload the first one. Oh
Yeah.
gosh, I moved you. Oh no, we're falling apart. All right. Hit that like, subscribe. Go check out Sister merch. Links in the description below. Go check out Blair Daniels. Her Reddit is also below. Till then,
And just to clarify, the website for the scissor merch is zcisor.com. That's how it's spelled.
perfect. We'll see y'all there. Peace out.
See ya.